Hello, everybody. It's Kristen here with Softlex Company, and I've got our special guest, Danielle Wickes with John Bead. Hi, Danielle.
Hi, how are you doing?
Oh my gosh, doing good,
I'm
doing good.
good.
We're so excited to see you today.
I'm excited too.
Oh, we've got Danielle here, and she's going to be sharing with us a fantastic daisy pattern. And she just shared with me that she's straight off of traveling from Craftivation. Did I say it right?
I think it was Creativation. Yeah.
Creativation.
Yeah.
I knew it sounded off. She just came back from Creativation, which is I think it's a wholesale show. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. Mhm.
Oh, and what did you do there?
Mostly presenting new products from John Bead, but I also got to poke around and see stuff like at the other booths, and got my interest sparked in a bunch of things like outside of jewelry because there was a lot of like paper crafting and like sculpting and just neat stuff that I hadn't seen before.
Oh, I remember when I went years ago when it was called CHA. All of the like make it take it booths were everywhere. Was it still kind of like that?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, so much fun.
Yeah, I did a demo for ours, and that went really well. And so, yeah, it was pretty cool.
Very cool. I also saw a picture of you with all of your workshops that you did for Michael's recently. Was that taken while you were at the show?
Yep, yeah, that was a banner we had made. And every class we've done, we created a QR code so you could scan it with your phone, and it would take you to the blog post where there's the PDF and the videos link.
Oh my gosh, that's so smart. And there were three panels. There were three huge panels of all of the classes that Danielle has taught for John Bead through Michael's. And right, is that correct?
Yeah, it's 3 years worth of our Michael's classes and the ones that weren't workshops. So like just the 1 hour ones.
Oh my gosh, so cool. Total beading rock star.
Aw, thanks. It was really fun. My friend Carmen Jewelry came with me, and
Awesome.
she worked the booth with us for those 3 days too. So I had just had a really cool time.
That's always the best thing about being able to get to shows in person is the people you get to meet up with, the new connections you get to make, and then also just seeing everything that's going on in the jewelry and crafting world. And it's just a lot of fun, a lot of inspiration.
Yeah, really, it's really cool.
And then we get to see Danielle, and she gets to share those inspirational things with us, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, Sandy says that your classes got her through the pandemic.
Oh,
I'm sure a lot of people feel that way, Sandy, and Maria says, very impressive body of work.
Oh, thank you.
Totally.
Yeah, those classes got me through the pandemic too.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. These videos and connecting with everyone made such a big difference and really made I know us feel connected to all of you, and then collaborating with designers like Danielle just really made it so much more fun and interesting and a lot less lonely than it could have been otherwise.
Exactly. And Softlex you guys started the Great Bead Extravaganza during the pandemic too, right?
We did, yeah. We were one of the founding silver lining, exactly. So yeah, now we're headed into our next one is this month in April. April 21st is the preview party, and then the 22nd and 23rd is the event. And yeah, we've got a kit right here. I'll just share a few things I've got going on my table before we get started. We've got the Spring Blossoms kit. There's only 11 of these left, and this is. Oh, I got a new puppy.
You did? Wait, recently you adopted a puppy?
Yes, just last month. So that's she's still she was just barking hello, I think. So the Spring Blossoms kit, we've got 11 of them left, and then we'll be totally sold out. We won't be putting any more in stock. So if you want to bead along with Sarah and I during the Great Bead Extravaganza, we're both going to be using this kit. Sarah and I are traveling together that weekend. So we'll be together in person. And since we're traveling, we just figured it was easiest for both of us to use the kit. And so you'll get 2 projects out of this one kit during that presentation. And right now we've got 20% off our spring holidays category. So if you check us out at softluxcompany.com and click on the main banner, you will see, I'm just going to make this really bigger for a second here. You'll be taken to all of our spring beads, which includes the roller beads, because we have Danielle coming on to do a roller bead project with us. So all of the roller beads are in that category on sale, as well as our soft touch beading wire, because Danielle's also going to be using the very fine soft touch with you guys today. So we stuck that on sale. This is 2 of the colors in the very fine, the silver and the black, but we also have a white. So there's 3 different colors in that very fine diameter, which is great for bead weaving, but we have all the soft touch diameters on sale. So any of the 4. And then we've got a few of our mixes. So we've got our Spring Blossom mix. We have our Spring Blossom bead strand, which are coordinating but not included in the Spring Blossom kit. We have our rainbow beads, which Danielle has a great project she's going to show you using these as well. So these are on sale for 20% off. All of our flower beads that we've got online that we've been playing with. So the small flower beads, the square flower beads, and even, I don't know if you guys have missed this one, but we loaded this one up a little while ago. I haven't had a chance to play with it yet, but there are these really pretty blue circular flower beads, and some of our new findings from Tiara Cast, like the Cathedral Links and the Cathedral Toggle Clasp. They have that beautiful little vines around them. The Lady Mary Link here, and these little bunnies, our crucifix, our crosses, even some of the other like moon and star pendants and Star of David pendants. Those are in there too. So we were trying to hit all of the spring holidays, as well as anything that was sort of flowery, leaf, those kind of things. And then we also included all of the beads in pink, some in yellow, and in green. So lots of spring colors. So there's a ton of stuff. I feel like there's like 10 pages of items that are on sale in that category. So go check that out after our video and see what we've got in there for you to play with. And then I'm going to go back up to all of us again. Oh, wrong one. There we go. And let's see what you have for us today, Danielle.
I've got daisy chain with roller beads, and I also use some of the rainbow beads. It's the same stitch, but it looks super different if you use different beads with it. And this is kind of like with like lots of beads. I feel like it's easiest with the roller. Like if you make your first one, make it with the roller because it'll go smoother. But then like a little bit leveled up version here with the tiny square rainbow, and then I use the bicone rainbow for the sides.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute. And I thought, see, the roller beads really look like daisies, and I thought these look like little butterflies. What do you guys think?
They do like little butterflies.
I love that you have a chain on that one too. That was really smart.
I've been experimenting with closures. So on this one, I did that. On this one, I did something almost kind of similar.
That's always the hard part with bracelets, is that everyone's wrist size is different. And when you're making stuff that you want, a variety of people to possibly be able to wear, that's tough. So that's nice that you've been playing with adding the chain on the back.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's very handy. And then you can just make it any length, like you said, to fit anyone, especially if you're someone that sells your work. That's an awesome way to make it more easy to sell them. So yeah.
Right. So what do you think if you were creating something like that, would around 6 inches be a good pattern part and then the rest be the chain
Yeah,
um,
I would say
or
so, because then
yeah,
it'll fit everyone, and you can make your chain about an inch and a half to 2 inches long,
right.
and then it
Yeah,
will
that's
fit
perfect.
everyone. Yeah.
That's perfect. So Danielle has a great pattern that she shared with us for this, and I went ahead and posted it in the Facebook event. So if you're on Facebook and you check out the event section in Softlex Company, you'll see the pattern right there. And then we're also going to put it in our blog that we do after the video so that you'll have that pattern there as well.
Yay.
All right. So tell us a little more about this design, Danielle. Go ahead.
I've been really excited about spring, and daisy chain is something that whenever it's springtime, I get inspired to do more daisy chain stitching because I'm a seed beater. So it was, of course, daisy chain, right? But
So cute. Daisy chain. It's just the cutest.
I know, isn't it? And it's still trending. It's been trending for many years, I feel like. It
I
came
do
back.
feel like around last spring, it kicked up a notch for sure.
Yes, yeah. And I got caught up in it. And so I've been doing all kinds of different versions. Like I recently taught a class that does a square version of daisy chain. That's really cool looking. And then this one is more traditional daisy chain, but it's approached in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
It's done as a ladder first, and then you work the flower back and forth.
Oh, that's interesting. And I like how the roller beads give them that little bit of that square look. I feel like it has like a retro
Yes.
mid-century modern kind of feel to it.
Yeah, and it's like more noticeable on the wrist because a lot of the daisy chain is it's minimalist, right? But this
Mm-hmm.
is like everyone sees it.
Yeah, it's a little more like poppy, it's really
Yeah,
cute.
I like it. I was inspired by that, and you can do all colors and definitely play with other beads. I feel like it'll work with other seed beads, like 6-0 seed beads and stuff. Even like 8-0 will probably work.
Oh, for
So,
sure.
lots
That's
of ways
always
to
the
play
nice thing about these kind of patterns is you can easily swap out beads and then it just gives it a totally different feel and look but the pattern is still the same, right?
it. Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
Thanks for sharing, Softlex Company. I think it's Thomas in the background. He just put up
Oh,
Danielle's
hey, thanks,
website.
Thomas. Yeah.
DanielleWickesJewelry.com is where you can find her and all of the fun things that she's up to. Where else could they find you, Danielle? What else do you have going on?
Actually, one of the best kept sites for finding stuff. I think I see a post. Did someone post? Yeah, it's blog.johnbead.com. That's where all the upcoming and past classes can be accessed. So everything we've
Oh,
done, all of our video content, we always write a little blog post there so you can see. And it's got a lot of stuff now. So searching it's like kind of tricky because you have to know what we called it, and we name things random things.
I totally get that. Our blog is the same way. We try to make it like easy, but it's so tough and it's like we have to kind of know what we put little tags on it, but even those you have to remember like what did you tag
Yep,
things?
exactly. So I always tell people if you see something like on my Insta that inspires you and you can't find it, just message me and I will send you a link to it.
Yeah.
99% of the time we have a pattern and a video, or at least a pattern, something like that. So
Something somewhere that you'll be able to locate for them.
yeah,
Yeah. But that's a great resource to go check out Danielle's blog at John Bead, which is blog.johnbead.com. And then you'll see
thank you.
all of her stuff that she's been working on and little recaps and patterns. And Jennifer says her website is amazing. I have saved every single one of her handouts.
Oh, thanks, Jennifer. Aw,
Jennifer's
Jennifer and
got a
I just
whole
did
file. She's
Yeah.
got a whole file of Danielle patterns.
Oh, that's so cool. Thank you.
It is cool. And it's so nice that you really, I guess with seed beading and bead weaving, you need those patterns because that's a lot of work. I've worked, prior to Softlex Company, I worked for a company that did a bunch of kits and they always put patterns in with their kits and I would do the illustrations for the patterns. And it was a lot of work to put those together.
Yeah, it can be. It depends on the pattern too. Like some of them are like a really like today's one is I felt like it was a pretty much a breeze, but like others, oh my gosh, yeah. Some of them are so intense. They're like multi-layer illustrations and
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Sandy says your patterns and directions are epic.
Oh, thank you, Sandy. I love hearing that. Thank you so much.
Because I know it's a lot of work to put into all of those. So it's nice to hear when you guys appreciate all of that. And it makes it so much easier to follow along, right? And be able to be successful at the project.
Yeah, I love hearing that.
So what do we need for today? We need 3 colors of roller beads. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, you could do as many colors as you'd like. Like on
Okay.
this one, I just kind of used all 5. So even if you wanted to, but 3 colors is a great start, because if you do the first one with different colors, it'll be really easy to see which bead to do the jump out from
Right.
for the flower. So yeah, I recommend starting with the 3, but you're not limited to that. Like you could do.
You can flip and flop and do all sorts of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for someone like me, I think 3 is perfect.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, so I think 3 is good. That's definitely how I started it too. And so all I did was I just kind of dumped them out in order. So the order you're going to string them in is you're going to start with what I call the stem color. So I'm using copper for my stem. And I just started out with that one. And then I used my flower color. And this one I used the blue, like the cornflower blue. And today I'm going to use some turquoise just to make it different.
And so is there any color that you need more of than the other, do you think? Is it like the flower color maybe?
More of the flower.
Okay.
And then the center of your flower, which could be any color you like. I just did a pop of orange because I thought that was pretty. And then you're going to need your very fine. And so I used 60 to 70 inches to start. This is why
You guys, look at this spool of soft touch wire.
Yeah.
This is the mega spool. This is 1,000 feet of soft touch, very fine.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe we used 1,000 feet of this.
I know. And how Danielle was just telling me that she didn't even get through a whole year of this. How long did it take you to get to this point?
I think 6 or 7 months, maybe. I can't remember. I'd have to go back and look at my orders and see when I ordered it. But yeah, it was a while ago.
Holy moly. I told her she had to share this with you guys because I know when working in the booth, whenever people would come in and they'd see these huge rolls, they would just gravitate towards them and be like, oh my goodness. I need all of this.
Yep. You will use it, guaranteed. And so for me, like I just have yeah. So cool.
Debbie said she'd have to sell her house to afford that roll. Oh, I don't know if it's quite that much, Debbie. And we will say that when you do go up in the spool size, you get deeper and deeper discounts per foot. So in the long run, it does really make a lot of sense if you're using it a lot.
Yeah, like we were just talking about that beforehand. It's for me more economical because I know I'm going to go through it, and if I buy it as little spools over and over again, I'll spend more.
Right, exactly. And then you won't have, you don't have to worry about running out in the middle of a project. You're totally safe for a while.
Oh, thanks, Jennifer.
Jennifer says, Danielle's the reason why I have this very fine soft touch in my stash. Oh, we love to hear that. Thank you.
Oh.
And Zach just joined the John Bead group.
Oh,
yay!
Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah, that's a fun group. Thanks for joining.
So you said 60 inches, is that correct?
Yeah, about 60, 70 inches. Depends on how many flowers you want to make. So how many flowers did I make? I made 8 flowers. And I cut about 60 inches. If you want to make more flowers, and the dimensions of this one, let me just get you a measure really quick. Came out at about 6 inches, and then I did my extender chain.
Okay.
So if you want to add a flower, each flower repeat is going to add a hair under an inch. So a little more than 3/4 of an inch or so. So you could say a flower per inch and it would be in the noise. Like it would work.
Right. I'm going to go ahead with 70 inches, I think, and then I'll see where I'm at from there. I always like to have a little bit more.
Yeah, I do too. I usually start, I think with this one, because I was when I started working on it, I actually had to add a flower because I made it too short, and then I was able to add one. I can show you guys how it's really easy to add one.
Awesome. Okay, now what?
So I cut that whole 60, 70 inches, and then I brought the two ends together like this because it's going to work from the midpoint.
Oh, Laura says bead size, please. We're using the Rolla beads, which are approximately.
They're about 4.5 millimeters, I think.
Yeah, I think this one says 4.5 on it.
4.5?
Yeah.
I was looking for it on here, but yeah, I think that sounds right to me. Oh, yeah, no, that says, I'm not sure. Yeah, 4.5.
Well, you know what it is? It's got a 4 on the first line with a little point and then the 5 behind it. So I think, yeah, I think it's 4.5.
Yeah, I think I've got another label over here. Let me just take a quick look. 4.5. There we go. It just like, it kind of jumps down on the label on that one.
Yeah.
But so, for example, if you were going to use a size 6 seed bead, a size 6 bead is about 4 millimeters. And then when I was measuring for this one, these are a 4 millimeter cube, right?
They are, yeah.
And it came out really great. So you're working with a different bead, you're going to get different lengths and measures, but it's still gonna come out really cool.
Yeah. I love that. I think
that's that one. That's a little dragonfly, butterflies.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone was saying dragonfly too. Yeah. In the comments, I saw that.
And like if I'd worked it with cubes on the side instead of the bicones, I feel like it would have made it more blocky, like the other daisy chain.
Mm-hmm. But the bicones are what made it give it those little wings.
Yeah, that's so cute. I'm curious to see. Like I have these now. I was gonna see what's the fire polish looks like.
Mm-hmm. See how it changes it just slightly.
Yeah. But so all I did is I brought my ends together. So because I'm gonna work from the midpoint. So to start, just bring your stem color, your first color, onto one of those and just slide it down to the midpoint here.
And you said just one, right? Yeah.
Just for now, we're going to add another one right after this. I just put the first one on just to find that midpoint. And then we'll grab the first flower color. And for this one, bring the bead on one side and take the other one. So this is the other end, and bring it through in the opposite direction. And this is the latter part. It takes the longest to do. The flower part's fast, but like this part is where most of the time goes in the design. But just keep pulling. Try to hold your midpoint in place, the one that you just found with the first bead. And then just go ahead and pull these together. The goal is to have, you'll see this come together like this, swatch. And the goal is to have this element here at your midpoint.
Gotcha.
And the cool thing is you can slide it around. Like if you just kind of pinch these, bring these back up. If you've got like a mega difference, it's not actually that big a deal. If it's off, it can be off. But see, I've got about that much difference right now from here to here. I'm just going to go like that. Bring them together. Just hold them. And then come back down here. And this will slide for me, I think.
That slid really easily. I had to slide mine back in place too. And that was super easy.
Really refreshing how fast that works too. I love that. And the secret to this, what we're going to do this next few steps is don't be afraid to pull hard on this, because when you pull hard on it, it has a little bit of memory, and I feel like it holds its place better. Otherwise, you're going to notice it's kind of looping itself back out. And the next thing that's really cool is every new bead we're going to add is going to tighten up the one before it.
Awesome.
And hold it in place, which is a bonus. So we're just working up from stem, petal, center. So now I'm going to put the center on the same way. Just bring it on one side. And then we're going to take the other one and bring it through in the opposite direction. So there's one side here. And here's one side coming on in the opposite direction. And then just going to pull that tight. And there we go. So you'll get something that looks like that. And this is just a ladder stitch. That's right. All it is. If you want to really give it a tug, don't worry. It won't break. Believe me, I tried. It doesn't break. So strong.
I know you can feel like, oh no, should I pull that tight? But yeah, it does a good job.
And apologies, I keep sliding off camera. I'm going to move my mat down just a bit because I keep doing that. So there we go. Okay. And I'm going to bring this one through that way.
So we're back to the flower color now?
Oh, yes. Yeah. So we're just working up and down. So we go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, just up and down.
Okay.
But what we're going for is the pattern of stem, petal, center, petal, stem.
Right. So you're kind of hitting it back and then coming back through up through the colors.
Yeah. But this will look cute, worked even in a solid color. It would still look really cool. So if you only had one bead, you could still make that work. I also thought about experimenting with, and I think this would work great. I just haven't tried it yet. Crazy idea. What if you put one of those little flowers that you just had on your mat in place of the center?
Oh.
And added a petal, right? And I'll show this step next. We haven't shown this yet, but you could just make it a wee bit bigger, and then it would dance around the big flower in the center.
Oh, interesting.
It would totally work. I can't think of why it wouldn't work. It would look different than this, but it would look cool. But this is a great way to get the concept and then just go to town and experiment.
And then experiment with other bead shapes and types. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that you can take a pattern and just keep changing, the variations of it based on the different beads and styles.
Me too. I love variations. Like that's one of the things that lights me up about seed beading. Is how many different ways you can take that same little skill that, like when I was just learning, I would pick up a new skill and then I would try it in every bead I had and see what happens, see what the texture looked like, the length, the look. It's really fun.
It is fun.
And so this part takes the longest, like I was saying, out of the whole design. Making this ladder stitch takes a while. I'll probably do maybe like 4 flowers. We're doing pretty good, but it took me probably 35 minutes to do my ladder. When I was doing 6 or 7, how many did I do here? I forget already. I did 8 on that one. That took me about 25 minutes or so, 30 minutes. I can't really remember.
Ooh, I'm on my 8th one right now, so I'm not too far behind. I'm about this going at about the
Your
same
8th flower?
Speed. Oh no, my 8th bead.
I was gonna say, oh my God, you're amazing. How did you do that? It's cool. That is so cool.
I thought you were just counting up your beads on your ladder. I was like, oh, okay, I'm not too far behind.
Oh no, I was saying so so when we do the flower part, each one of these sets of 3. So the turquoise, and that's the center of the flower, and the turquoise. So that's 2 flowers.
I see. And
then for my finished one, I had 8 flowers. So making this ladder stitch part go for 8 flowers takes a while. But it's really fun and rewarding. It's meditative. And you could just put on some music and just sit there and
go through. And it's nice when you have your piles in a way that okay, just pick up this one next and this one next. So you don't have to think too much about it.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, this is definitely put down project and come back and it will easily be pick upable.
Lynn says that she didn't hear her phone, so she's a little late.
Well,
we're glad you made it.
Lynn, we're just doing ladder stitch in this order of stem, petal, center, petal, stem. And there's diagrams you said the Facebook group or the post? Or
in the Facebook event.
Yeah. There's diagrams for you there so you can catch up. And we're using roll of beads.
We will post the diagram in the blog also after the video is done. When we usually do a blog on Friday with the recap, and so it'll be in that blog for sure.
Oh, cool. And I wanted to share, you see how this is loose? and this one's loose. And what happens if I just pull? And it should just fix itself right away. And if it's doing that to you, you see how mine's waving and wandering? Go ahead and just hold the beads. Pull one side really tight, pull the other side really tight. This was particularly helpful when I was working with the smaller cubes. And look at that.
There you go. Yeah, just sort of reposition it.
Yeah, so it's totally workable. And you just got to keep going. And once you get the swing of it, it like starts to speed up and go pretty fast, I feel like.
I think I just have to get the hang of pulling it tight each time because it's not, I don't think that's my normal like feeling of what I would do, you know? So.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Usually you wouldn't use this much tension. And even in like a seed beading design, I might not typically use this much tension for something like that either, but it happens kind of naturally with the thread just pulling on it because thread's so much thinner and weaker. There we go. And another thing you might notice is if they start to fold down on you like that. That happens to me sometimes, but it fixes when I added the next one. So I just keep going. So there's one side. And here's my other side going through this bead. And so we're just crossing the beads. For anyone that just joined, we're just crossing the beads in opposite direction. So I take one strand, we're working from the midpoint of a really long strand, and we brought on the bead, and then see we're just crisscrossing through the beads in these little figure eights. And mine's done something a little wonky, so I'm just going to flatten it out and do my pulley thing again. See, I'm holding it flat.
The nice thing too, I think I messed up a color, so it's pretty easy to back out and
oh yeah,
pull them back out and then just readjust.
For sure. Okay, and then where am I at? I'm on my center flower here. So each time, like there's kind of like a shorthand way of doing it is before I've even pulled them down, I'm just going opposite direction here and just pull it down.
Anne is asking, does the roller beads come in a smaller size? They are only in this size as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, correct? This is the smallest size for Rolla. They make them bigger. They make one that's like 7, and I believe there's one that's even bigger than that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they make some pretty big ones, but we've only really been working a lot with the 4.5. That's kind of the one, my go-to.
Yeah, this is a good size. I think it's such a great size for, just for, like you said, it gives a little more oomph, like you know, it has more of a statement because they're a bit bigger than a regular seed bead, but they're also really easy to work with, and they're really fun as spacer beads and all sorts of other ways to use them too.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Robin's had a bunch of storms and tornado warnings in her area.
Oh, where are you, Robin?
She's has her power is out, but so her phone it is. Well, I'm glad you got phone access and you can still join us.
Oh, thanks for using your phone battery for joining us. I feel really super flattered. Your phone battery worthy. Yeah, when the storms come here, we're like, oh no, conserve your phone battery.
Right.
We get it a lot here where our power goes out.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. Yeah, especially in the winter. It happens a lot because our power lines are above ground. And so everything's kind of just, you know, it just takes one windstorm to take the tree branches down.
Yep.
And then power's out. And that's that.
Luckily, it's kind of rare for us over here. When it does happen, it tends to happen in the summertime, which is when you don't want it to happen. But it's more like that's when we have some of our bigger storms too, is in the summer. But it's still pretty rare.
Oh yeah, because of the I feel like because you're kind of coastal, right? Like a lot of
Well, I'm in Arizona, so we have more of like monsoon season, and then we have our big storms in the summer.
Oh, I keep forgetting you're in
With
Arizona. I
that,
keep thinking you're in
I
Sonoma.
know. Yeah,
You told me that
that's
like
where
100 times, and I still forget.
that's where everybody else is.
That's funny. I'll get it someday.
I mean, maybe I'll be in California one day. Who knows?
Do you like it out there?
I do like it out there. Yeah, I do like it there. Although I've got one more year. My youngest is a junior this year in high school. So next year will be his senior year. And then I'm like, oh, then we're kind of like free to make changes if we want.
Oh, wow.
I don't know
Hawaii?
that we will, but it's kind of it's an interesting thing to think about when for so long have been like, oh, we can't go anywhere. We gotta finish out our school here. We'll
Yeah,
see.
that's true. It's interesting. Like you could go to Hawaii.
I know we've talked about that. Wouldn't that be amazing?
That would be cool.
That would be so cool.
So much inspiration there too.
Anne says, do I make an appointment to visit the Softlex company? Yeah, our gallery is not, I don't believe it's open to the public any longer like it used to be. But if you do come in the area, or if you do live in the area and you want to come by, I think you can send us an email and they can make an appointment for you. I'm really not sure what the process is with that at this point in time, because we did kind of close the gallery during the pandemic. And so, yeah, you can send an email message and ask us at info@Softlex Company, and Rosa can let you know how to go about doing that. Oh, Ruby says it's storming where she is too. Robin is in Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh, wow. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, I feel like there were a lot of storms in the Midwest happening today.
Yeah, there was, oh gosh. So like the day I was supposed to arrive at Creativation, there were tornadoes, like tornado warnings, which usually that's a little far north for a tornado. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, the weather's definitely weird for sure.
Yeah, it definitely is.
We had like a 30-degree night last night. It was so cold here, which is so strange for April in Arizona.
Yeah, that is unusual weather for Arizona, right? Well, usually it starts to get warmer for you guys around that time.
It does. Usually by May we're hitting 100 at some point in May. So for it to be like going down to the 30s in the evening, I think it was like,
right?
I don't know, just below 40 or something. It's very odd.
Yeah.
Ruby is in Louisiana and she's having storms as well. Robin says if she needs to, she can charge her phone in the car.
Oh, yay, Robin. He thought of everything. That's cool. So how's your stringing going?
I'm totally not sure if I have my colors in the right place.
It'll still work. It doesn't matter.
But it's okay. I figured I'm like, it's all right.
I've got about 5 flowers going, and I was thinking I could start heading back
Okay.
and then show that, and then I can show how to add more flowers. If for example, you got that far and you were like, I want to add a flower then, so I can show you how to keep going.
Oh, cool. All right.
Yeah. And that's probably how I'll finish it too. So what I've got in my hands here are about 5 flowers worth of laddering. So I ended with a stem. You'll want to end with a stem bead, whatever bead you're using is that one. And if you're not wanting to think of it as colors or as parts of a flower, if you just wanted some counts, really what it is you start with 5 and then every 4 after that. So starting with the 5, right? These 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then it's 4, 4, 4, and 4. Every segment is 4.
I gotcha.
So from here, what I did to add a clasp, I feel like there's a lot of different ways you could do this. And I played around with it. And came up with a few versions. This was the one I thought was the easiest and I liked the most. So I was going to share this one, but definitely wanted to say there's other ways to do this. But I just put a lobster claw directly on here on the, so I'm exiting from this bead, right? This came out of these two. And this is the one I put in the diagram, the one I'm doing now. And just bring down your lobster claw. And then I've got my other side, and I'm going to do kind of the same thing we were doing with the bead, where I'm going to go through in the opposite direction.
So creating that ladder stitch through the lobster claw.
Exactly, yeah. Just treating it like a bead. And so that's going on there. So it'll sit, let me bring that up close really quick. It'll just kind of sit on the outside of your bead. See, it'll just lock down right on top like that.
Cool.
And again, I'm just pulling tight, and I'm going to go back through. I'm going to go back through the stem bead, the copper bead here on the end, with both of the strands. So the one that I went through the lobster claw with this way, I'm going to come back through the bead this way. And when I do this, it'll make the lobster claw stay a little bit more in place. And then with this one, I'm going to do the same thing, other direction. And so your lobster claw will sit like that. And it's got two strands of the very fine going through it, so it's nice and strong. Looking good there. And the next part's going to start to really make things flow a little better and even out. I'm going to come with both of these strands through each of the following beads, right? So here's the one exiting from this side. Bring it through the first petal bead. So we're just heading the other direction through there. And there's two ways you could do this. If you wanted to work these, you know, petal by petal, side by side, you could. I kind of was, what I did and what I diagrammed is I worked one side down and then I came back and brought the other one down. So I'm going to work the sides of the flowers with each of these beads with one strand from here out. But you could do, I'll show you what I mean. You could do add a petal and then pick up the strand, add the next petal, or you could just do what I'm doing, which is kind of like a shorthand version.
Gotcha.
So from here.
So you're still working with the same strand you fed through the second bead, right?
Yeah. I left this one alone for now. I left him just kind of hanging out here after coming through the lobster claw and back to the bead. And now I've picked up the one that was exiting on that side. Brought it through this bead here, the petal bead. And then I'm picking up two of the blue petal beads now. I'm going to slide those down and take the end of that wire, and let's skip the yellow bead and go through the next blue bead. And this right here actually looks really cute by itself. I was noticing that especially when I was doing the rainbow beads. So it's just something you might want to see because it might inspire more design ideas for you. So there's one side of a petal. Let's hold on to that. From here, and this is also really stabilizing, but you want to go through the next stem bead here. And now turn and come through the next petal bead. And pull down. And now we're ready to make another petal, but this one's gonna zigzag the other side, right?
Ah, I'm following.
And if you wanted to, you could come back here. You would bring this one through this one, but I'm going to do that once I've got the other side.
So you're going to start by doing the zigzag with one strand, and then we'll come back and do the opposite zigzag with the other strand.
Yeah, I felt like that flowed better for what my hands felt like doing. But you don't have to do that. Like it would work either way. It's
a little, you don't have to start and stop as much.
That's what it is, isn't it? It feels more like I'm just sewing. I guess that's actually what we're doing. We're just sewing, right?
Yeah.
And I like to work with my right hand. And so I was kind of having to flip it and back and forth to my right hand as if I try to do both.
Oh, that makes sense too. You're going back and forth and then you're flipping the whole design around to work with the right hand.
Yep, exactly. And the cool thing is, you notice as I'm adding each of these petals, all of that stuff where it was kind of folding a little bit on itself is fixing. So if that's happening to you, just don't sweat it. I'm not quite sure why it does it on some and not others, but all better now. I don't know. I think like 90% of seed beading, I don't know if you agree with me on this, but like when I was brand new, if it wasn't working out as I was starting it, I would get scared and stop working on it. Now I just keep going. And like, even if I'm not loving it in the process, I guess somehow at the end, I get something I like, and I don't know why that is. It always happens.
Well, you have a little more trust in the process now that you've done it a few times. And you say, okay, well, we're just going to keep going and see where I end up instead of stopping too soon and not finishing.
Yeah, exactly. Because I feel like it kind of, as you layer things up, everything just kind of evens out and comes out really nice looking. And this design by itself, I thought this was really cool. And I kind of wish I'd snapped a picture of this one in process. I really wish I'd done that because it looked really nifty with just the zigzags like that. So there's no reason it has to be flowers. It could be lots of stuff.
More of a geometric design or something too.
Yeah, exactly. Like little waves, kind of.
Oh yeah, waves would be cute.
Now I'm thinking about Hawaii again.
Yeah, you have Hawaii on the brain.
I think I need to go to Hawaii. My parents are going to Alaska in the summer, so they're going to sweep through here in Seattle and stay with us for a couple nights on the way there and back.
That'll be nice.
Yeah. I kind of want to go there too. That sounds really fun.
Yeah, it does.
And I made it all the way to the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this one here for now. So this is a strand I was working with. And I'm just going to let it stay here. And I'm going to come back up to this one that I left behind and do the same thing down. But because it's exiting from opposite direction of that top bead, it's going to end up putting the flowers on the other side of our flower on. So from here, we're exiting from the copper bead there. And I'm just going to turn and come through the turquoise bead. And now ready for 2 more petals.
I think I'm someone who needs that that color pattern because I definitely skipped some colors.
It helped me too. Yeah,
but that's okay.
Of what I was doing. It was when I was first kind of playing around to figure out which one I wanted to do. I tried the traditional daisy chain, where they kind of, the beads are oriented where their holes would be going this way.
Mm-hmm.
And with that one, I was getting confused with my colors. So that's another reason I really like this version.
Now that I've gone through the process too, I think the petal and the stem, that kind of, the visualizing that is making more sense than it did when I first started.
Yes, yeah, definitely true. There's a peyote stitch version of a flower like this that is worked lengthwise, which is really, starting it is really hard because you're just like making a super, super long first 1, 2, 3 rows. But it comes out so cool. And it's the same process when you're adding these colors in this order. So that's kind of what I copied when I was putting this one together.
I see.
And somewhere buried on my website, I have a pattern for that, but I have to go find it. It's good. It's gotten a little full of stuff.
I totally get that.
There's my next flower. And apologies for the Band-Aid, guys. I injured my hand. I was being clumsy in the kitchen.
Oh.
Yeah.
We're sorry.
And I'm like, oh man, every time that happens, because that happens to me a lot. I'm like, darn it. Because I know my hands are going to be
like, on camera.
Yeah. Like, I got to stop doing stuff like that. But I tend to not obey the danger laws of heat.
Oh, is it a cooking accident?
It's 90% of them are. Always are. Because by the time you're cooking, you're tired, right? It's the end of the day. Everybody's hungry. Somebody might be being fussy next to you, like getting all hangry. So you're moving fast and taking shortcuts and not following the safety laws.
Right.
I'm like, I'm a mom. I can do what I want, right? Nope. I'm going to get hurt too.
Oh, you're getting some prayers for fast healing.
Oh, thank you. The good news is it doesn't hurt. It just looks bad. And this is coming along so fast. It's looking so good. My next
I'm
petal.
curious to see what my other half is going to look like, because I just totally was like, I was trying to look for my yellow beads and just continue with the petals, but then I'm like, it doesn't really work. So I have to, I have to do more of the pattern. So some of them don't have the yellow as the center.
That's okay.
Exactly. I'm like, yeah, we'll just see what it looks like at the end. And you always learn something in the process. So
Yeah, exactly. And I took the first one of these that I did apart. It didn't work out. Yeah.
That makes, I mean, that's kind of true for me too. I usually always have to do things a couple times before I'm like, okay, there we go. So if any of you out there have this, feel the same, you're in good company.
There it is. And so it's obviously very short because I didn't do a full length of flowers.
Mm-hmm.
But the cool news is if you decided you wanted to add, you just start the process over, heading in that direction. You've already got all the threads where you need them to be. And you can bring this one through here. I'm going to bring this one through in the other direction. And I'll be exiting from my edgemost bead, or like the last bead.
Mary says, wow, I think I can really do this. You can, Mary.
Oh, absolutely.
You can
Yeah. Yeah, this is a fun one. I think this one is like a low stress, just kind of playing with your beads, making them look cool, not worrying too much about stuff, which I totally need right now. I'm always embarrassed to tell people that I get flight anxiety, and it's new. Like I didn't used to be like, I used to travel all the time. I don't worry about it. I was like, yeah, let's get on a plane. It was exciting. It was fun. Now I get like anxiety. I think my anxiety is about getting stuck.
Right? Oh, that could be. Or yeah. Do you feel like it happened more? I feel like that kind of happened for me a little bit once I had kids.
Yes. Yeah. So, that's what changed. Yeah.
Like now that my kids are older, I feel like it's not as bad as it was when maybe they were younger. And I think you just kind of, you know, your mind goes to not great places.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like not being in control
when you
get home.
You worry about their well-being, and then you're like, oh my gosh.
And it was so like maybe, they're getting older, but they're
get better.
I hope so. Yeah. I was surprised. Like I thought, you know, they're 7 and 9, almost 10. He's going to be 10 next week. But they both cried when I left. I'm like, seriously, guys?
Oh,
like, great. You're probably going to come back, and it's only short, very, very short. Don't worry.
You're like, you'll blink, and I'll be back. It won't be.
Yeah.
Dana
I was
says,
flattered, but also like I couldn't drive down the driveway. I'm like,
yeah,
it's really, really sad. Like, no.
You're like, you guys,
stop crying. Go play Roblox, okay?
Yeah. You're making this hard on Mama.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm so bad. I'm going away from them.
Amanda likes the roll of beads, and Betty is wondering, can earrings be made from this?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, you would just like with the way we put the lobster claw on there, just make that an ear wire, and then when you come down here, you could finish it like with a charm. Even it'd be kind of cute. I don't know. There's lots of ways.
Oh, that could be very cute.
But so you guys see how I just added? I'm adding another flower, super easy from that end. And then what I'm going to do really quick is I'm going to zip back and put the petals on it. Now, if you were just wanting to add one more and you found yourself here, you know your eventual end state is you want these beads here from the last stem bead, right? The threads exiting like in this direction, this configuration, right? But you could just take one of these strands, pick a strand, any strand, go back through like that. Let's get 2 petal beads. And I'm going to go through this one here. Just going to tighten that back up. And I feel like I got a little looser than I wanted there. So let's do this again. Actually, I'm going to show another tip really quick. Because it's loosening on me like that, there's one other thing you can do before you make that trip back. You can reinforce. So let's go back to the ladder part. We're back here. I'm going to go through and again one more time. Just like in any seed beading, an extra trip around can make the things be tighter. Okay.
Right. Yeah, that's a good tip. Just kind of go back through if you feel like you need to tighten things up a little bit. Lynn can't wait to pull out her roll of beads. She's got every color that Softflex carries.
Oh, you do?
Yay.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think we had a bundle too at one point. I don't know if the bundle's still up there or not. Sometimes if we run out of one color, we have to take the bundle down. And Jennifer says, this is life-changing. Love, love, love this bracelet.
Oh, thank you, Jennifer.
And Dana's asking, is Softflex planning on getting more Rolla bead colors? I don't know. I don't know how many we carry that, how many we don't carry that John Bead still has. So maybe we'll have to look at that with you, Danielle, and see.
Yeah, I think you got most of them.
I feel like we got most of them too. I know that there's some like travertine ones that you sent me that I don't think we have. I know we've been trying to get the green. The green we can't seem to get for some reason.
Yeah, Sarah was saying the green was sold out.
Yeah, she's tried a couple times, I think, to order that one.
Oh,
and
I will check on that for you.
The other two, this is a debate Sarah and I have, is she doesn't always love the travertine style beads as much, and I really like them. So I'm curious what everyone else thinks, but she's like, she'll sort of, she'll kind of whiz past them sometimes. And I'm like, what about this one? Because I love them.
Me too. They're pretty great.
I think they're pretty great. I think they're really, they add a different, different touch to your pieces. Ruby says, can you use seed beads for this pattern?
Yeah, Ruby, I think it would work for sure with a 6-0. I also think an 8-0 might work because this I was able to get this through many, many times on these beads, which have a little bit smaller hole.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's equivalent to what an 8-0 might perform like if you were trying to get multiple passes through. So one trick I can give you, a tip for this, is don't give up when you're feeding it through on that last pass. It will go. You just have to kind of hold. Let me show you really quick. You got to hold the end, just like you're threading a needle, and then start to feed it through. And see, that's probably like a 6th pass right there, and it's still going through.
You just got to get a little tighter in there so that you've got more control on that tip.
Yeah, it does add a little bit of love and care to the construction because it takes a little bit longer to get it through. But if you're working with an 8-0, it's kind of going to be like that for you.
Mm-hmm. Dana's saying that's when I started to get anxious about flying too, when I had my boys. Yeah, I do think that there was like when my kids were younger, I was a little more concerned. But I will say my husband loves to watch all of these flying videos and pilot videos, and it's helped me get calmer about it because there are so many flights every day. There are so many. And so it's like, and there's very rarely anything that happens, So I feel like him watching those kind of things has helped calm me a little bit about the process.
Exactly. And statistically speaking, like It's so unusual for there to be anything wrong. I think the more realistic worry I might have is like being told, "Hey, you're not getting home tonight."
Right. Yeah. Like just your
Welcome to
schedule
Idaho.
getting thrown off and then everything that all the dominoes fall, right?
And then you're overpacking like crazy, right? Because you never know if you're getting home in 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. So
I
yeah,
know. Oh my gosh.
I
Anne
know I'm
says,
having anxiety because I'll overpack. The
oh,
more
because you're
overpacked
just
I
like,
am,
just in case.
yes. And I bring beads and then I never use them. Like I'll carry those beads across the country and back. Never once took them
Must
out because I'm busy. I'm doing stuff.
must have beads. Must have
Yes.
beads.
So true.
Oh, it is a cute daisy flower pattern. Anne says, yes, I
Oh,
agree.
thank you,
Love,
Anne.
love the design and the roller beads. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much, guys. I'm
Oh,
glad you like
Jennifer
it.
says the bundle is still there. Oh, good. Uh,
Oh.
Jennifer's team travertine. Yay. I love the travertine finish. They are a must. It's
Oh,
funny,
yeah.
I think that's one thing that's nice about here. I'm going to put us back on the 4-point screen here. I think that's one thing that's nice about, Sarah and I, when we work together or we talk about things we're going to order and because we do have very different ideas of what we like. And so it's funny when something like that, like she sometimes just is like, no on things. And I'm like, but I love that. And I know there's lots of you out there that will agree with me. And then there's lots of you out there that will agree with her. So it's fun when we get to collaborate on things together because it'll be a little mix of the two of us.
Here's for
Fun.
hooray for Team Travertine.
Yes.
Get our t-shirts.
Team Travertine. Oh my gosh, that's funny. We're going to have to get t-shirts that say that.
I do have a friend though that originally she was referring to a Picasso bead, but I feel like it's similar. She was like her Picasso beads look like they're dirty, like they got something on them.
That's probably too. I'm also thinking Picasso. I'm putting Picasso in the travertine
Yeah, it's all together.
bunch because
I feel like
do
they're
feel like they're
kind of
similar.
similar. Yeah.
Yeah, they are kind of similar. So when I say travertine, I'm actually including the Picasso stuff too. And
Yeah.
I love it because I feel like I have one here that you sent me that we haven't brought in, but I can see what someone means about like, oh yeah, they might feel a little dirty.
It looks
But
like you swept them off the floor or something.
Yeah. They picked up a little stuff on their way up and but they're just, I don't know. I think it's kind of fun to have that contrast on there.
I do too. I love them. Oh, yours is cool.
So it came
Yeah,
out cute, but you see, I definitely, right here is where I somehow swapped the colors, but I did okay for the other three. So just this one kind of threw me off for some reason, probably because it was in the middle and I just got distracted.
Yeah, for sure.
But I love it. It's so cute. And I'm totally going to pull this. I'm totally going to pull it apart and do it again so that I get the pattern to line up. But I just think it's just adorable and super easy, super, super easy. Yeah. And it feels really good and strong.
It is super strong. Yeah. Lots of strength to it.
So how did you finish it on the other side? Did we
we didn't show that yet.
We didn't show that. Okay, good. I was like, did I miss it? Am I talking about travel and
No, you didn't. I just have this one kind of short. So I'm going to add more flowers to this one. So I'm going to swap over to one that I had ready. Awesome. That's already in that same spot. So this one is just a little longer, but it's got the same thing going on where we're exiting from the same place. And I have some chain here. You can use any chain you want. And of course, if you're working with like a lobster claw clasp, go grab a lobster claw clasp. That's great. You can do, I meant if you're working with like a toggle, go ahead and do that. I feel like the same process will work no matter what clasp.
So connecting to a toggle instead of the chain, but same idea.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm going to grab some of the very fine crimps. These are the little teenies.
The little teeny 1x1 millimeter crimps.
Yeah. So everyone cheering that there's no weaving in. Yes. You could weave it in though, just saying. You could if you wanted to.
Yeah, my bracelet's still, I'm wearing the one that we did together. That was the herringbone. And that one's just woven in. And it's doing great. I wear it a lot.
Oh, good. That's good to hear. Yeah. And I think actually in the diagram I show, so what I showed in the diagram was going through the chain the same way we did the lobster claw in the beginning and then coming back through and weaving in. But I just wanted to show one other way that's faster. Because I feel like the weaving in thing is, it takes a long time and everyone's kind of seeing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so what I did is I just brought one side down through my crimp bead. And then I'm going to take the other side and go up through that crimp bead. So not going in the opposite direction this time. I'm going in the same direction. So they're both of the tails here are going to be exiting out of the top. And I'm just going to pull that down so it's even. It's going to sit kind of like that. And this will add a little bit of length too as a bonus. And then choose one of those sides. It doesn't matter which one. And then get your chain. Go through your chain. Bring that down. And let's go back through that crimp bead. It'll go through. It's teeny, teeny. And so I'm holding all three, just kind of going to slide it. There we go. And I'm going to pull that one that just went down through the crimp. I'm just going to pull it down. And so what you're going to get is like a little figure eight that looks like that. And I'm going to tighten this up. But so again, we brought both strands through the crimp. And then we brought one strand through the chain. Hi, pup. And then we brought the other one. That's the one that went through the chain. We brought it back down through the crimp. This is that same way that you guys showed me originally. I saw this in your book for how to do multi-strand termination like that. Mm-hmm. And then you'll just want to get your crimpers and do a simple regular crimp, or if you're using the magic one because you're awesome.
Well, this for the little 1x1, the magical ones don't work. So you'd have to use a micro crimper, that's the one that we sell, or you'd have to use like Danielle's using, where that one is like a 3 crimper, right? It's got all 3 sizes in there.
This one has all 3 sizes, but you know what? I think I like the micro better because it is actually kind of tricky for me to get the U. I have to really try really hard to make that U go.
So the micro one looks just like the old-fashioned regular one. It's just got a teeny tiny little here, I'll show them. I've got them here.
Oh, good. You've got it? Yeah, those are.
So this one, we've got the mighty, we've got the regular, and then this one is the micro, and it's just got the ittiest bittiest little teeth on there, but it just gets that crimps it just like you would when you were using this kind of one. So you would, make your divot and then turn it and put it in the top and then crimp that closed.
I think that's probably an easier to use than the one I was showing here, because my U was hard to make, but I was able to close it. I just had to really look at it teeny tiny.
Get in there.
But that's good to know. So with the micro crimps, that's these little ones.
Mm-hmm.
No magic crimper for this, right?
No magic crimper. Nope.
Gotcha. Okay. That could be something else I was doing wrong. I was trying that.
That would make total sense now. If you were trying to use it, you're like, it's just not working. Yep. Nope. It won't.
See, I learned something new every day. Whoops, sorry.
Isn't that great? It's like, yeah, I love that.
So there's my chain. And so I'm just going to trim these the same way you would trim like any beading wire. Just a little bit close to the crimp there. If you want to cover it with a crimp cover, you can do that. And so that's one way. And then, of course, there's the way that's in this the second page of that illustration that's on the event. That one I just did the same thing like with the lobster claw, where you just kind of weave back in. So you would go through the chain one way, through the chain the other way, and then just come back through the beads.
And then come back through and go back until it goes back a little bit of ways to hold it in there. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's great to have different variations to try and see what works best for you.
Yeah, definitely. And on this one, that's on this one I did something even a little different. I looped through my crimp But then I had to do something unrecommended with my crimp because I couldn't get my tool in there. So I just flattened it, and that was naughty.
Right. Yeah, because if your little loop gets too small, you can't get in there to actually crimp it properly. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I see.
I was not. Don't tell anybody.
Don't tell anyone. Shh, secret safe.
Yeah. But I
Oh,
made it.
Becky's asking, Danielle, you need to do a live to show us how to do the butterfly bracelet too. It's really cute. Well, it's the same pattern. It's the same process, I should say. The only difference is that you did the whole ladder stitch with the cubes, right?
Yep.
And then you came back with the the bicones, and you used the same color to wrap around to make those kind of butterfly wings petals.
Exactly. Yeah, that's all I did. It's the same exact steps we did for this one. But then what I did is for the colors, I did something unusual for the colors. I strung the first 5. So you see how here there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those.
Mm-hmm.
And then I only strung 4 of each of the next one. And if you're working with the cube strand, there'll be 5 of every color on that strand. So you'll have an extra of all of those. So
is there a reason why you did it? Is it just because you need that first like bead to anchor things and then?
Yeah, it's just the count. Because from here on out, every single new flower is sharing the former stem, the flower from the stem.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Gotcha.
It's easier to see on here, but like, so here's the first 5 beads.
Right.
And then, or in this case, there's the first 5.
And then the next set is 4 because it's sharing that stem bead. Okay.
And so that's the color convention I followed. Was I just used the one that was on the strand originally.
Mm-hmm.
And I did the ladder stitch exactly the same way. And it got about the same length that I did for this bracelet with just 1 strand of cubes. So it was actually really, really, really good. And then
the cubes are probably going to give you the longest, I would think, ladder, because if you were to try and do, say, the fire polish you have there as your ladder, they're going to be short. Yeah, they're going to be a lot shorter.
That's a really good point. Yeah, I would recommend doing this with the cubes. It'll still work. You're just going to need more. Maybe get 2 strands of this.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And yeah, so that worked really good. And then I came back through, and when I did the petals, like we did with these, I used a bicone.
I love it. And the bicones look so much like little wings. It's so cute. And it would be fun to see if you guys switch it up and use a different shape, how that changes it. Like I do think the fire polish maybe on the sides would feel more petal-like versus wing-like, because they're going to be tinier. And you might even want, I don't know, a couple. Well, I guess there's 5 on a color, right? So
there's 5, yeah. And that seems to be true with every strand. There's 5
yeah.
of them. So if you were going to double it up, you could maybe do 2 colors.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. I love it.
Fun to play with. And then if you get stuck, you can. I was going to share adding thread. I was I was a little bit naughty, and I did do a flat crimp, but I was able to add thread. I don't know if you guys have spotted that, where I did that. Nobody was going to see that.
Oh, yeah. We're only seeing it because you're holding it up so close to the camera. Like otherwise, you're not going to see that in person, because that's what the little 1x1 crimp too, right?
Yeah, with the little 1x1, and I did it over here too. I ran just a little short.
Oh yeah.
See him hiding there?
Yeah.
Nobody's going to notice that, I promise.
So if you need to add a little wire, you just use your 1x1 millimeter crimps and your micro crimper, and you can add it right on there and then keep going.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Danielle.
Oh, thank you.
This was so much fun beading with you. I love getting to bead with you because this is not something I do on my own very often. And so you always inspire me to try something new, and I'm going to be excited to make this bracelet when I'm done. And awesome. It's just so cute. Is there anything else you want to share with us that's going on in your beading world? Yeah.
I'm going to be doing some lives coming up. I've got a class coming up next Friday. We're doing a bunch of peyote stitch. So if you feel curious about peyote stitch, we're going to show reading patterns. So that's next Friday so not this week, but next week. And it's at 2 p.m. Central Time. So for us, that's here in Pacific Time. For me, it's 12.
There
And
you
for
go.
you, it's 1?
I think it's 1. Yeah.
1 for you. And so it's your mountain time.
Well, I'm actually Pacific time now. We're
Oh, are
confusing
you?
because we've changed time zones depending on the time of year. Yeah.
Oh, no. That's really
So
got to throw you off with figuring
it
out.
totally throws me off. It
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm always doing things on Pacific time because in my head because that's where Softlex is located, but I have to kind of adjust an hour, half the year, and then adjust back to the same time. So we're on Pacific time now,
Oh, cool.
which makes it. I always love when it's on Pacific time because then I don't have to have that extra layer of thinking of wait, what
Nice.
time is it for me?
Exactly. And there's no spring forward, which for me is always a really brutal transition. Like, I do not like spring forward.
It is. So where can they see that the peyote class? Did you say where that
Oh,
was?
yeah. Actually, you'll find a link to it on our blog. So that's the blog link
Perfect.
that Thomas was sharing earlier. We always post the registration link there, and the PDF's downloadable from there. And then if
Awesome.
you miss it, the replay is posted there. So yeah. Well, thank you. Thanks so
Thanks,
much.
Thomas. He's so good. Blog.johnbead.com is where it all goes down. That's where you get all of your information, your patterns, and you get to see where Danielle is next. And then we also have a great blog that we wrote about Danielle, a beading party blog. So Thomas shared that a little bit earlier in the comments too. So you're welcome to check that out. We always love having you on. Thanks again for joining us. And
Thank you.
thanks for joining us right off your other trip. You're a trooper. I was like, when did you get back? Last night?
I got this. I got it.
Such a pro. Such a pro. Jumps right in
Aw.
the next day. We appreciate you so much. And
Thank you.
and for all of you that want the pattern, be sure to check out the event on Softlex Company's Facebook page, and you'll see that pattern image in there. And if you miss that, we're going to have it in the recap on the blog on Friday. So, oh, perfect. Scroll down a little bit, and there it is in the event tab. I know some of you are not on Facebook. So if you're not on Facebook, you can check it out on our blog on Friday at softlexcompany.com. And just scroll to the bottom of our homepage and you'll see our most recent blogs listed there. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful rest of your day. Happy beading. And I will see you all. I'll see you all next Monday for a new episode of Free Spirit Beading. Happy spring beading.
Happy spring.
Bye.
Bye.